Tuesday, January 17. The purpose of tithing. Read Leviticus chapter 27 verse 30, Numbers 18 verses 21 and 24. What does God propose to do with the tithe? Leviticus 27:30, and all the tithe of the land, whether of the seed of the land or of the fruit of the trees, is the Lord's. It is holy to the Lord. And Numbers 18, verse 21, Behold, I have given the children of Israel all the tithes of Israel as an inheritance in return for the work which they perform, the work of the tabernacle of meeting. And verse 24, For the tithes of the children of Israel, which they offer up as a heave offering to the Lord, I have given to the Levites as an inheritance. Therefore I have said to them, Among the children of Israel they shall have no inheritance. Because God is the owner of everything, as you read in Psalm 21 verse 1, the earth is the Lord's and all its fullness, the world and those who dwell therein, he obviously doesn't need the money. But because the tithe is his, he tells us what to do with it, and that is to use his tithe for the support of the gospel ministry. And therefore the needs of the ministers are taken care of with God's tithe. The tribe of Levi, the ministerial force in the Old Testament, was not given large properties, as were the rest of the tribes. Levi was given certain cities, including the cities of refuge, with enough land around them for personal gardens. They were supported by the tithes of the others, and they themselves also tithed their income. Read Acts chapter 20, verse 35. What's the message here, and how does this relate to the question of tithe? Acts 20, verse 35. I have shown you in every way by labouring like this that you must support the weak. And remember the words of the Lord Jesus that he said, It is more blessed to give than to receive. Tithing is important because it helps us establish a relationship of trust with God. To take 1/10 of your income and give it away, though technically it belongs to God anyway, truly is an act of faith, and only by exercising it will your faith grow. Think, for instance, about the end times too, when those who are faithful cannot buy or sell, as depicted in Revelation chapter 13 and chapter 14, as we'll see in Lesson 11. To have developed a trust in God and in his providences and power and love will be of paramount importance when it seems as if all the world is against us. Faithful tithing can surely help develop that trust. Even before then, how crucial for all of us to have learned to trust God regardless of our situation. A second big reason for financial faithfulness is to access the promised tangible blessings of God. As part of the tithing contract, God has promised blessings that are so large that we won't have room enough to receive them. With our surplus, we can help others and help to support the work of God with our offerings. And so to finish the day, in what ways have you experienced the great truth that it is indeed, as it says in Acts 20, verse 35, more blessed to give than to receive? This lesson was read by Dr. Percy Harrold for Christian Services for the Blind. Sponsored by the Sabbath School Department and distributed through Hope Channel Australia, this podcast is also redistributed by Hope Channel Germany, Christian Record Services for the Blind. It is also available on SoundCloud and through multiple podcast distributors, including Apple iTunes. And you can listen and watch at the same time on YouTube. Remember, God is always faithful. And here is a disclaimer. Contents of these lessons are not intended to be financial advice, but is general commentary based on biblical principles. The reader is encouraged to seek competent professional advice which will suit their particular personal situation.